What's up, everybody? It's Fireplace Friday. I'm Jeremy with Fluesbrothers. I am your host today. Where you been? You haven't done a Fireplace Friday in forever. I'll tell you where we've been. Busy! So the first quarter of the year for chimney sweeps is always kind of the hardest time, especially in Kansas, because something happens that typically doesn't happen before January. This! Snow! All this snow and everything. So yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge with the cold air and the snow and everything else. It always is. So it takes away from me doing fun things like this, but that's okay. It happens a little bit. I'm going to pick this up. So I'm wandering around the shop a little bit right now. We're doing a little bit of work. I got my headband on to help compress the head a little bit, because sometimes doing the office stuff and dealing with all the day-to-day stuff gets a little stressful. So this kind of helps my stress a little bit and helps with headaches and things. Also, eating a little healthy. I got a little BLT minus the lettuce and tomato, I guess, going on. A little bagel here, a little leftover bacon from where we had a bunch of theater boys staying at our house the other night. Made them breakfast. My son's in theater. If you saw, he was in Greece here recently. Very proud of them. Very proud of all those boys. They did a great job. Sold out. They've been dealing with the snow and the makeup dates and everything. So anyways, I'm gonna grab my little snack here and head back to my little office space back here in the clubhouse. So what we're going to talk about today? Well, something happened this week that is always exciting for me. We're going to talk about licensing. So many times customers will call and they'll say, well, are you licensed? And I don't think a lot of people understand what licensing is. Or they'll ask somebody and people go, oh yeah, we're licensed. Sure we are. Just because they, have a phone number or what have you, that they must have all the stuff like insurance and licensing and everything else. Believe it or not, that's not always true. But we are licensed. I'm going to show you what to look for. So we dealt with that for a long time when certification, we're all certified and everything, and we still deal with it where people will say, oh yeah, the company I had out was, they're certified. And I go, well, certified by what? And they say, well, I'm not sure. I just asked them. And then we look up the company on all the different certification websites and everything, and they're not. They're not. Maybe they don't even know what certification means, but there is no regulation for our industry. I know there's regulations in certain areas of the United States for plumbers and heating and cooling and stuff like that, but there's little parts of our business that might bleed over into those regulatory things, but there's no licensing or any required things. All of it's voluntary. Now licensing for local cities and everything, contractor licensing is not optional. You really need to get it and have it, especially if you're saying you're licensed. So if they're licensed, they should be able, in our area here, should be able to provide this neat little thing, because I just got my updated license after taking my re-up courses. So to be licensed, licensing is basically set up to make sure that people are educated, and they're kind of forced to get educated, and that they can pass a test, and that that way at least there's an ensuring that they know what they're talking about. Just like our industry, where we have specific things, certifications instead of licensing, certifications, and they're all voluntary. So you always want to make sure that you're hiring somebody that, you don't want somebody who just started yesterday and doesn't really know what they're talking about, but they're the experts coming in to tell you exactly how to have a fire in your house. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So what you have here is, if they are licensed, you can ask them, well, at least the owner of the company, somebody is licensed to be able to say the company's licensed. They're going to have a nice license like this. Nothing wrong with asking for it. In fact, I can email, text, whatever they like, because I'm proud of this. I had to pass a very hard test that had a lot of information on it, that it was kind of general for many different trades, and half of that, 90% of that test, I'll probably never use any of this. I don't frame houses. We don't pour concrete driveways and things like that. But there was some chimney questions on there, and of course, I jumped right on those. I've been doing this for 22 years. So license to go with it. Now, there are websites. You can go to Johnson County Licensing if you're in Kansas City and look it up. You want to check those credentials because so many years, and it was so funny. Oh yeah, they're certified. Oh yeah, they must be because they had a truck and a telephone number, and oh, they must have insurance. They must have this and that. A lot of companies, small trades and things, if it's just the owner, they don't have to have certain insurances and work comp and stuff like that. And that can be a problem because if someone gets hurt on your property and they don't have proper liability insurance, work comp, they damage something on your property or what have you, or worse yet, something happens to where it's led back to work that they did, you're kind of on your own at that point, or your homeowner's insurance is going to have to take care of it, or if someone gets hurt on your property, like if you are the type that hire, somebody off of Craigslist to come do lawn work or something for you, if they get hurt on your property and they don't have insurance, your insurance has to pay for it, and that's not optional. You can argue it all day long. That's the way it works. So make sure you're checking these things. Ask for copies of this or that. It's your right. If they can't provide it, then move on. And you'll typically find that the guys that are a lot lower priced than some of the shopping around you did, it costs money to have all this stuff and time and everything else. So that's probably what they're missing. And that's not cool. You want a good, solid company that is education-based. You want them to not just come out and try to sell you stuff or whatever, showing you pictures, professional, things of that nature, nice trucks that don't leak stuff in your driveway, people that don't make messes in your house, et cetera, et cetera. And the lowest price guy is typically leaving some of that stuff out. In fact, there isn't a typical to it. It's always. So, food for thought. Let me know what you think. Have a great weekend. Here in Kansas, it's supposed to warm up over the weekend, even though we got a bunch of snow out there. Be safe, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.